Hi, in this opportunity, my classmate Mayra Elizabeth Ponce and I, Odalia Alexandra Benitez, will be historians, and we will talk about the War of Spanish Succession. After the death of the Spanish Hamburg King Charles II in November 1700, his last will designated Louis XIV's second grandson as his successor. This transition seems to go smoothly at first, but then in November 1701, the Grand Alliance of England, the United Provinces, and Austria-Hungary was formed to prevent it, and this led the War of Spanish Succession. In terms of numbers, the Grand Alliance and the two crowns were evenly matched. On the Bourbon side, the French army was Europe's largest and the Spanish army was rapidly extending. On the Allied side, the Dutch army was the largest, closely followed by the English army and the Austrian army. The war started with a surprising offensive by Prince Eugen in Italy in 1701. Barbarian then joined France, and Savoy and Portugal joined the Grand Alliance. But in 1704, France seems well on its way to victory, but Franco-barbarians were crushed in the Battle of Blenheim and the Alliance took Gibraltar. In 1706, Marlborough was victorious in the Battle of Ramillies. This led to the Allied conquest of the Spanish Netherlands and possibly influenced Eugene's victory at the Siege of Turin. In 1708, the Grand Alliance was victorious at Oudenarde and in the Siege of Lille. And the next year, French could claim a strategic victory at Malplaquet, and the war started to bog down in the French line of defense.
Politics and institutions during the Spanish Succession War. The general policy of the participants and the actual decisions made by the people in the power, of course, did have just as big an influence on the outcome of the war as events on the battlefield. In the political field, we see the winter of the reign of Louis XIV, the brilliant reign of Queen Anne, the statesmanship of Anthony Haines, and the clever reign of the Joseph I. These sovereigns and politicians were, however, constricted by the constitutions of the countries they ruled. The Peace of Utrecht. From 1706 onwards, the how and when to make peace and on what terms would dominate politics. The most of the contemporary observers, Louis XIV, scored a final victory at the negotiations table when peace was made in Utrecht in 1713. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the effects of the Spanish Succession War, and it is probably impossible to determine how far the present has been affected by these events of these 15 years. Perhaps we can suppose some major effects. For example, it is probable that Canada was lost to France due to the loss of some territories in North America. I think that is the big effect in this situation. Another effect that I can mention is that there is also little doubt of this war laid the foundations of the Anglo-Saxon Empire and domination of the world. Thirdly, the overextension of French, the future erosion of traditional political structures, and the apparent success of the English parliamentary structure probably hesitate the outbrush of the French Revolution.